Grocery stores want you to believe that saving money means buying less. That's backwards. The real money leak isn't in what you're buying, it's in what you're not buying, over and over, month after month, while you keep replacing convenience junk that never actually fills you up. Somewhere along the way, budget grocery shopping got confused with sad, bland, boring food. That's a lie sold to you by companies that profit off your confusion. The truth is, the cheapest items in the store are often the most nutrient-dense, longest-lasting, and most versatile things you can put in your cart. Let's fix your list. Skip the canned beans and go dried. Number 1 is dried beans, and the math here is almost embarrassing. A pound of dried black beans costs around $1.50 and yields roughly 6 cups of cooked beans. That's 12 servings for the price of a candy bar. A can of beans, by contrast, runs $1.20 for maybe 3.5 servings. Your grandmother didn't soak beans overnight because she had nothing better to do. She understood cost per serving before that was even a phrase. Store them in a sealed jar in a cool, dry cabinet and they'll last 2 to 3 years without blinking. Soak them the night before, and by dinner you've got a protein source that costs less than the tax on a fast food combo. A container of plain rolled oats runs about $4 and gives you close to 30 servings, roughly 13 cents a bowl. Number 2 is oats, and not the flavored packets with more sugar than a granola bar. Marketing convinced an entire generation that breakfast needs a mascot on the box. It doesn't. Oats stay shelf-stable for a year, pack in fiber that keeps you full till lunch, and take on any flavor you throw at them: cinnamon, peanut butter, frozen berries, whatever's in your fridge. Cook a big batch Sunday night, portion it into jars, and you've got grab-and-go breakfast for the entire week without touching a drive-thru. Eggs are number 3. And yes, prices have jumped around the last few years, but even at their worst, eggs remain one of the most inexpensive complete proteins on the planet. A dozen eggs, even at a premium price, breaks down to about 30 cents an egg. And each one delivers 6 grams of protein plus a dozen essential nutrients your body actually uses. Stack that next to a protein bar running $2 or $3 for roughly the same protein hit, wrapped in sugar and marketing copy. Eggs keep for 3 to 5 weeks in the fridge, cook in under 5 minutes, and go savory or sweet depending on your mood. If you're not buying eggs weekly, you're leaving free protein on the table. Here's the part nobody tells you. Frozen vegetables are often more nutritious than the fresh produce sitting under fluorescent lighting, because they're locked in at peak ripeness instead of picked early and shipped across the country. Number 4 is frozen vegetables, and a bag of frozen broccoli costs less than half of fresh, lasts basically forever in the freezer, and creates zero waste since you use exactly what you need. No wilting, no soggy bag forgotten in the crisper drawer, no guilt tossing rotten spinach on a Sunday. Fresh produce has its place, but if you're buying fresh vegetables, you won't eat within 3 days. You're not saving money, you're prepaying for trash. This one's almost cheating. Number 5 is canned tomatoes, and a can of whole peeled tomatoes runs about $1 and turns into the base of sauces, soups, chili, stews, the entire backbone of budget cooking across half the world's cuisines. Italian grandmothers built empires of flavor out of canned tomatoes and olive oil alone. Meanwhile, a jar of pre-made pasta sauce costs 3 to 4 times as much for something you could make better yourself in 15 minutes with garlic, oil, and a little patience. Keep a few cans in the pantry at all times. They're the difference between I have nothing to eat and dinner's ready in 20 minutes. Rice is the ultimate cost per calorie champion, and it's number 6 on this list. A 20-pound bag can run under $15 and quietly feed a household for weeks. It's the base of half the world's diets for a reason nobody needed a nutritionist to explain. It's inexpensive, it's filling, and it goes with almost anything. Store it properly in an airtight container and it lasts years. The people flying to Bali for clean eating retreats are eating the same rice you can buy for pennies a serving at your local store. The difference is the plating and the price tag. Forget the almond butter aisle unless you enjoy paying triple for marketing. Number 7 is plain peanut butter, and a single jar delivers protein, healthy fats, and shelf stability that lasts months unopened. Spread it on toast, blend it into a smoothie, stir it into oatmeal, or eat it straight off the spoon when nobody's watching. We won't judge. Cost per serving sits around 15 cents, which makes those $7 protein snack packs at the gas station look like a small crime. Bananas take the number 8 spot, and they're the most slandered fruit in modern wellness culture, usually by people who've never actually looked at a price tag. They run around 20 to 30 cents each, come in their own packaging courtesy of nature, and deliver potassium, fiber, and quick energy without a receipt that makes you flinch. They're portable, they need zero prep, and when they start browning, you don't throw them out, you make banana bread, and suddenly you're the resourceful one in the group chat. A can of tuna or salmon costs about $1.50 to $2, and delivers roughly 20 grams of protein along with omega-3 fats that would cost you a fortune in supplement form. Number 9 is exactly this canned fish. It doesn't need refrigeration until opened, doesn't spoil for years, and turns into a full meal in under 5 minutes with some rice or bread. This is emergency-proof protein. Keep a few cans stocked and you'll never have an excuse to order delivery again just because you have nothing at home. Onions and garlic land at number 10 individually cheap, collectively responsible for making almost every budget meal taste like it took effort. A bag of onions costs a few dollars and lasts weeks in a cool, dark spot. Garlic follows the same rule. These two ingredients do more flavor work than half the overpriced sauces and seasoning blends lining the specialty aisle. Master them, and suddenly, rice and beans stops tasting like a punishment, it starts tasting like a choice. Fast food built a trillion-dollar empire selling you fried potatoes at a 400% markup, and number 11 proves you never needed them for it. A 5-pound bag of potatoes costs a few dollars and stretches across an entire week of meals roasted, mashed, fried, boiled into soup. They're filling, versatile, and when stored in a cool, dark place away from onions, they'll last a month without issue. You already have access to the same ingredient, you're just paying someone else to cut it for you. Skip the flavored yogurt cups loaded with as much sugar as a candy bar. Number 12 is plain yogurt, and a large tub costs less per serving while giving you protein, probiotics, and a blank canvas you control. Add your own honey, fruit, or granola, and you've built something better than the store version for a fraction of the price without the ingredient list that reads like a chemistry exam. Roast them for a crunchy snack, blend them into hummus, toss them into a curry number 13, chickpeas. Might be the single most flexible item in the pantry. Whether canned or dried, they're loaded with fiber and plant protein, and they cost pennies compared to a pre-made hummus tub charging $8 for chickpeas and oil you could combine yourself in a blender in 90 seconds. Same logic as the vegetables, frozen fruit is flash frozen at its nutritional peak, with no spoilage and no waste, and it's often cheaper than fresh, especially out of season. Number 14 earns its spot for exactly that reason. Blend it into smoothies, stir it into oatmeal, or thaw it for a quick topping. You get the nutrition without the ticking clock of fresh fruit quietly rotting in your fruit bowl while you feel vaguely guilty about it. Buying a whole chicken instead of pre-cut pieces can cut your cost per pound significantly. And that's why it's number 15. You get more out of it: 2 breasts, thighs, wings, and a carcass you can simmer into homemade broth that puts the boxed stuff to shame. Nothing on that bird went to waste in your grandfather's kitchen, and nothing should in yours either. One chicken, properly broken down, easily turns into 3 or 4 separate meals. Dry pasta costs next to nothing, cooks in 10 minutes, and pairs with literally anything else on this list: beans, tomatoes, garlic, frozen vegetables, canned tuna. Number 16 is the ultimate carrier for everything you've already got in the pantry, and a single box can stretch across multiple dinners for less than the cost of one fast casual bowl. Faster than beans since they skip the overnight soak, lentils cook in 20 minutes flat and cost absurdly little per pound. Number 17 quietly built entire cuisines across South Asia and the Middle East out of necessity, and it turns out necessity produced some of the most efficient, flavorful cooking on the planet. Underrated, overlooked, and stupidly inexpensive cabbage takes number 18. A single head can last weeks in the fridge and stretch across multiple meals, slaws, stir-fries, soups, pound for pound. It's one of the best value per dollar vegetables in the entire produce section, and nobody's making TikToks about it because it doesn't photograph as well as avocado toast. A couple dollars a can of coconut milk transforms basic rice, lentils, or vegetables into something that tastes like it came from a restaurant. Number 19 is the secret weapon behind a huge chunk of Thai and Indian cooking, and it makes budget meals taste intentional instead of like a compromise. Whether you bake it or buy it, bread remains one of the most affordable ways to build a filling meal-based toast, sandwiches, dipping for soups and stews built from everything else on this list. Number 20 closes it out. Store it in the freezer if you buy in bulk, and you'll never deal with mold sneaking up on you again. Here's the pattern you probably noticed. Every single item on this list is boring. None of it comes in flashy packaging. None of it has an influencer promo code. And that's exactly the point. The food industry spends billions convincing you that eating well requires spending more. It doesn't. It requires buying ingredients instead of products, and using them before they go to waste. The people who eat well on a tight budget aren't lucky, and they're not sacrificing. They just stopped paying for convenience they don't need. Fill your cart with this list, and you're not just saving money, you're finally shopping like someone who knows exactly what they're doing.